And welcome back to the Angry Teacher channel. I'm Richard Williams, the Angry Teacher, and today I'm going to be talking about R.A.C.E, that writing strategy that a lot of people have been using, different ways, different names, but it's still the same thing. Getting kids to pay attention to their writing and to think through their writing responses. So I just thought I'd make a quick video to kind of clarify a little bit about what R.A.C.E is. So no matter what the grade level, no matter what the subject content area, you've given students a question, a comprehensive question, and what do they give you? One sentence responses. R.A.C.E, or what I like to call the writing mantra, helps kids to think a little bit deeper, to give you a little bit more from what you ask. All right, so here's what it is. It's basically an acronym that means to restate the question, answer the question, cite evidence from the passage that will give you the answers, and to use examples in your responses. So that's basically what R.A.C.E is. What does it look like? Number one, restate the question. Borrow words from the question stem itself, basically rephrasing or restating the question. And if a student can restate the question, that means for the most part they've understood what the question is asking. There's an easy way to do that, and it's to take out the words that prompt you to think about a question. For example, a question word. How is. How is. Why is. Could, should. All those words that tend to have you pose a question or ask a question. Take them out. Throw those bad boys away. And then you'll have your restated question. Now it's just a statement. Now you can attempt to answer it. Answer the question. Number two. Some of these questions have multiple parts or more than one part. For the most part, if it only has one, it's not too hard. But for your students, they may have, why did X happen? And was it supposed to be blah, blah, blah. So those are two questions, two tasks that the kids need to answer. So make sure your students understand that signal words like and, choose, X, or things that give you multiple ways, multiple responses to the same question need to be addressed. So they need to look for the tasks in order to answer the question. Now, if they've already restated the question and now they have an answer because they've looked for the multiple parts, they know what the tasks are, and they go ahead and they complete them. That's step number three. Cite the evidence. I tell my kids all the time, you need to prove it. When they say, if I ask them, why do you think the speaker said X, Y, and Z? Oh, because he was happy that he found his friend. Prove it. They have to go back to the text. Whenever a kid is responding, just tell them back to the text. I don't want your opinion. Go back to the text. Go back to the text. Go back to the text. Prove it. So citing evidence. They have to get used to this. This is the beginning of research papers. This is the beginning of their own independent research. This is the beginning of longer writing. And so now we have to prove that you have something from the text. The writing mantra, and I have a product that will explain all of this a little bit easier, and it has charts, so you can go ahead and use those. So just check it down in the description. But for the most part, this is what it is. Tell your students, have something in quotation marks or at least paraphrased from the text. We have to find something to prove your ideas. Signal phrases, they need to use these. These are things like, this proves that, or the author thinks this, in the text, according to the text, author X states, or in the story, blah, 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 or in, insert story here, blah, blah, blah. So these are things that can have them go back to the text and write something that comes from the passage. Part 4, explain your answer with examples. Now we've had the question, we've restated it, we've answered it, at least on paper, we've written down our ideas for our answer, and then we've cited evidence from the text. Now we're going to find examples from either real life, You're going to associate this with social commentary, with the human condition. You're going to make it applicable to what life is. Either you get it from a class, from what we've done in class, from your background, your life experiences. So this is where the 4 examples to illustrate. It reminds me of a time when stuff like that you put back into the writing to elaborate your responses. So you have a lot going on in your responses. You know, kids ask me all the time, how many sentences are in a paragraph, Mr. Williams? I tell them, I don't know. Yes, we've told you, oh gosh, I need a shave. Anyway, let me focus. Yes, we've told you like 5 sentences make a paragraph, but when you start writing and adding all this stuff to it, it makes it a lot more elaborate. So that's what we're going for. So with that said, you need to use transitions and conjunctive adverbs. These add some form of fluidity to your writing. It makes it flow and it makes it sound authentic, and it coincides with all the 3 parts above it. So transitions, conjunctive adverbs. We're not done. There's one last component that after they've completed this chart, they've thought this through and they've written it down on paper. It could be arbitrarily. I prefer if they use a chart, but you know, whatever they choose to do, whatever you choose to give them. Once again, I have a product that you can. There's a link to my store. Go pick it up because this will help. You have the chart. Once they have all this down, there's one last thing they need to do. Put it all together in a paragraph. Once again, it doesn't matter what your content area is, it helps. This is how you get cohesive, comprehensive responses to these questions that always stump our students. All right, get them to write more, get them to write more in depth, get them to think before they write, and then they put it on the paper and you have an automatic, beautiful paragraph. Check out my other videos as they'll be coming out a lot more frequently because I'm on summer vacation, guys. Love y'all.